Let's talk Tanya for the 2nd of Nisan. So we just concluded a lengthy conversation about how our mitzvahs, our physical mitzvahs, elevate the world and create a dira b'tachtonim, a home for God in this world as He wants and as He envisioned it originally. Once we understand that, and that our primary goal and focus over here is the physical world, we understand a ruling in halacha, which is that kavana, which means intent in doing a mitzvah, is secondary to the mitzvah itself. The main thing in a mitzvah is to do the mitzvah. To the extent that even when you're praying, if you just said the words and you did not have kavana, you did not have, you weren't thinking about what you were saying, with the exception of 2 passages in the davening, you fulfilled your obligation just by saying the words. On the other hand, if you said the entire davening in your head and you concentrated on the meaning of every single word, but you didn't articulate the words, you didn't fulfill your obligation, which is kind of funny. Because you think, what is praying all about? Praying is all about, it's the service of the heart. In fact, in the Torah, when it talks about davening, how does it tell us to daven? It says, serve God with all your heart. Our sages tell us, what does it mean to serve God with your heart? That's prayer. So how is it that the service of the heart, if you just mumbled the words, you said the words, you fulfilled the obligation. On the other hand, if you actually had the feelings and the passion and the thoughts, but you didn't say the words, you didn't do the mitzvah. But by now, the answer should be obvious. There are a lot of important things to do. But the most important thing, and the point of every single mitzvah, is to create a dira b'tachtonim, to create a home for God. If I just thought it in my mind, and it was in my heart, I did not impact the physical world in any which way. If I say the words, again, there's that energy of the animal soul that's expended over there. I've made a dira b'tachtonim, I've taken some klipa, transformed it to holiness, and I have done the mitzvah, fulfilled the mitzvah. Now, is it the optimal mitzvah, the ideal mitzvah? Maybe not, as we shall see, but the mitzvah was done. But if it was only a spiritual act, the mitzvah was not done. Nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe tells us, and he quotes a saying of the sages, that a mitzvah without kavana, a mitzvah without intent, is like a body without a soul. What's that all about? Why is it like a body without a soul? Didn't I do everything that's necessary? So this is something that we're going to be discussing at length over the coming days. But the first thing we need to understand is that when we're talking about kavana over here, over the next days, when we talk about the importance of kavana intent, we're not talking about mindfulness. We're not talking about, I'm doing a mitzvah and I'm aware of the fact that I'm doing a mitzvah, or I'm saying a prayer and I'm focusing on the words in the prayer. Here we're talking about kavana in the sense of, what is the objective? What is my motivation for doing the mitzvah? When a Jew does a mitzvah or studies or prays, the motivation is supposed to be ahavas Hashem and yiras Hashem, love for God, which is, therefore, I have a desire to connect to Him through doing the mitzvah, through studying Torah, through praying, and yiras Hashem, which means reverence. That is the kavana of the mitzvah. That is the objective of the mitzvah. And now we find out that our sages tell us that if I do a mitzvah without the kavana, meaning that it's a sterile mitzvah, there was no love for God involved, it wasn't motivated by a love for God and an awe for God, it is like, the mitzvah is like a body without a soul. What is this analogy all about? Why is a mitzvah without kavana like a body without a soul? Why is it important for me to have a love for God and an awe for God? Why can't I create a dir b'tachtonim, elevate this world without that? That is something that we'll be discussing at length in the coming segments of Let's Talk Tanya.